Hi everyone, welcome to today's live stream. I'll wait for a moment so that people can join us. Till then, let me share the stream with others. And if you are watching me live, then I would request you that kindly share this stream with others. That way I would be grateful to you, and this way more and more people can join us and will be helping more people. All right, so if you are interested or if you want to help me out, please do share this stream with others. I'll just take few moments to share this stream on my other groups. Hi everyone who had joined us, please do leave something in the comment. I'll start this live stream very soon. Who is with us today? Please do let me know. Who is with us today? Okay. So in today's live stream, we are going to edit this image. I hope you can see right now on the screen. This image has been provided by Hukum Kusma. I think I am pronouncing his name correctly. He has requested to edit his image, and I am really thankful to him for providing his image for this today's live stream. So we'll be editing this image and we'll be manipulating it, and basically I have something in mind that I'm going to create some kind of a surreal or dark dreamy portrait kind of a manipulation with this image. Alright, so this is a live stream. Though the process of photo manipulation takes many hours depending on the kind of a result we want. So this is a live stream, so this may not be that perfect, but we will be learning various techniques which would be very helpful for you. So let's see what we can do with that. And if you have any question, please do ask me some question during the live process, or even I'll give you after completion of this live stream, I'll give you 5 to 10 minutes. All right, I think all of us everybody had joined us, and whoever had joined us, please let me know, leave something in the comment so that I'll start this live stream. This is the image over which we'll be replacing the background. So who is live with us, please let me know. Alright, so should I start manipulating this image or editing this image? What do you say? Leave something in the comment. Okay, I think I should start. First of all, we need to remove its background. Alright, somebody has mentioned thanks for live, thank you. And his name is in I don't know which language, maybe this is Marathi or something. I don't know Marathi or Bengali. Okay, and I just can't pronounce his name. And Rahul Dev said start, bro. Okay, Rahul, we are starting. So first of all, we need to remove the background. All right, so for this purpose there are so many options or so many tools using which we can extract the background or remove the background from an image. But for this purpose I will be taking the quick selection tool. Alright, so quick selection tool is over here. Let me zoom in and show you correctly. Alright, so Utpal has mentioned that this is Assamese language. Okay, Utpal, I was not aware of this language because in India we have so many languages. Alright, so this is a quick selection tool which you can see over here, and we can have the access to this by pressing W on our keyboard. Alright, so let me zoom out, come over here, zoom in a little bit, and over here you need to be aware of little bit some techniques. That's here we have the option of new selection if we are going to create a new selection. And but if we want to add something to already, if there is already a selection, if we want to add that, then we need to use this option over here. And this option is obviously, if you'll hover your mouse, it will show you subtract from the selection. So suppose if you already have some selection and you want to subtract it from there or subtract certain part of that, then you need to select this option. Otherwise there are shortcut keyboard command, I'll show you that as well. And over here make sure you select sample all layers, it's very important. All right, though over here we have only one layer, but it's always good that you keep it checked all the time, sample all layers. All right, so and this quick selection tool works basically like a brush tool. So we, wherever we'll be painting, it will start making a selection of that area using the pixels based on the area we are painting. All right, so this is how it makes the selection, and this is a quick selection tool because it makes the selection very quick. As you can see, the moment I am painting or clicking on certain part, it is going to make a selection of that area. All right, so if we have spilled out certain selection from here, don't worry, we are going to fix it. Let me first make a quick selection or basic selection, and then we will refine this selection later on. Okay, so let me quickly do this. And here, as you can see, now we have got a selection, but here we have some problem. As you can see, it has over selected something, so we need to subtract it from here. So one way is to come over here and select this option, subtract from selection over here, or what we can do right here within our keyboard itself is we can use, or we can press Alt, or we can press Option if you are using Mac. So we'll press Alt or Option and click on that area, and boom, it is going to remove that selection from that area. All right, so similarly we'll go zoom in by pressing Control space, and with our mouse we can zoom in, and now we can make a selection, or sorry, we need to press Alt or Option and click over here because we don't want this part to be in the selection. All right, and as you can see, now we have, it has over selected something, then we need to paint it over here. All right, and that way we are going to refine our selection. and over here as well press Alt or Option and paint over that area. And here we don't have any problem. Let's zoom in, and I'm just pressing space and the selection tool just turns into the hand tool. Alright, so this way we can easily travel through or navigate through the image. And let me press Alt, make a selection, and subtract it from this selection. And this is a little boring task, but once you will start enjoying this, it would be no longer that boring. Alright, so this is how we can make selection, because selection is very important. That's how we change the background, otherwise photo manipulation is not possible. Alright, let me select these hairs as well, or I would say I would cut it. I don't want these hairs. Alright, and leave these hairs as well, we don't want that. And zoom in, let's get his ear. Okay, and I think we have made the selection, and now it's time to subtract it. Alright, so let me just zoom in. There is a little bit problem over here, so I'll press Alt and remove it from here as well. Okay, and now we'll come over here on this option, select and mask. Alright, so we'll click this and it is going to open up this window. Alright, and let me zoom out to show you. This is a window, and here we have some options. So we can adjust the transparency. As you can see, now this is no longer transparent, and we increase the transparency, it is going to show us what our final selection would look like. Alright, and since we have already made the selection, so that's how it looks. And then here we can adjust all these settings, like we can choose this as detection option. So we'll check this smart radius, and what it does, it basically makes the selection based on the pixels. So this is a smart selection tool, as it detects the edges smartly, and here we can smoothen out the edges of this selection. So, and here we have the option to feather, so we can increase the feather. Feather is basically this thin line between the edges and the background. Alright, and here we can adjust its contrast of the edges, so we can adjust that, and we can adjust the shift as well. So if we want to make our selection to go inward or outward, we can use that with the help of shift edges. Alright, so basically I keep this normal settings, like radius 3 pixels and smooth 31, feather 0.5, contrast 17, and shift s -5. And here we need to select the new layer with layer mask. Okay, and as you can see, we have a perfect selection, but if we want to refine this area, like over here, then we need to come over here, and we need to come and select this brush tool or this refine as tool. So we have the refine as tool, so we'll select it and we'll come over here, zoom in by pressing Control space and mouse, and we'll paint over here, and it is going to intelligently remove these certain background pixels from the image. Alright, so you can do right now over here, and this tool is very helpful for the purpose of refining the hairs. Alright, so I think that you can see right now over here we have some problems, so we can fix it right here, or we can fix it later on. So we need to go back to the selection tool and press Alt and paint over here, and it is going to remove it from the selection. Okay, and now this one is good, and we can refine it later on and press OK. Thank you, Sanjeev. And now we'll zoom in and see the result. Here we can see we have some problem, so we can fix it. Right now we have one separate layer mask, so we can adjust this layer mask. So we'll come over here, select the brush tool, and here we'll select the softest brush, and we are going to increase its hardness to something like this, and opacity to, let's say, 50%. All right, and come over here, and with the black color, it should be black color over here, and if it is not black and it's something else for you, then press D on your keyboard and it is going to turn into the black and white, and then you can press X to flip it over, or you can simply press this small icon and flip this arrow button. All right, so let me zoom in and remove it from here. And let me remove it, and it doesn't matter whether we remove much of the part or the smaller part, and you can, if you accidentally remove the part which you don't want, then you need to press X, and that would flip your this color to white, and then you can paint in and you will get that back very easily. Okay, Hukum Thapa, all right, Hukum Thapa has joined us. He says very nice, thank you Hukum Thapa. And again switch to black color and remove it from here. And see what we can do over here, and we can adjust that this edge as well, and zoom in, make your brush smaller and paint to remove it from that area. Okay, and I think we have got a workable selection over here, so we can go ahead and make a selection or work on our photo manipulation. So if anybody has a question, please do ask, otherwise I'll go ahead and manipulate this image. So if you have any question, please do leave something in the comment, and I would request you that please do share this stream with others. And if you have not liked my page, please do like my page, and if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please do that as well if you are watching us on YouTube. Okay, so do you have any question, or should I go ahead? All right, so let's go ahead and create our photo manipulation. So this is the second image. This is the cloud image. I have shot it with the camera mobile phone, and as you can see, this is all pixelated. It is not that good, but we are going to work on this. All right, so we'll go back to this image and we'll choose the move tool from here, and we'll click here and drag it onto this separate layer, and we have got our selection over here, as you can see right now. So we can adjust its position for the moment over here, and here you can see we have this edge, so we need to remove this edge. So we'll select this layer mask over here. Okay, and again we'll choose the brush tool, and this time we'll be using the soft edge brush with 0 hardness and opacity, let's say 50%, and we'll paint it with the black color. Make sure you have the black color, otherwise this edge will not be removed. All right. So thank you so much everybody who has shared this stream. I'm really grateful to you. Alright, so I have removed it, and now let me zoom in to see. Okay, this is fine, and now we'll need to crop this background a little bit. So we'll choose the crop tool by coming over here, or you can simply press C on your keyboard to crop this image. So we'll click and drag it up something like this, and over here as well. Alright, so I think this is fine, and we'll press enter, and now we have got this selection or this image, and now we'll need to remove this as well. So we'll take the black color, again brush tool, and we are going to paint in over here, and this is going to remove it from there as well. And now as you can see, this person Hukum is sitting on something, so we need to put something over here so that he can sit over there, and at the moment he is floating in the air, and we don't want him to float in the air. All right, and as you can see over here we have some problems, so I'm going to paint with the black color over here. I think this is a problem, so for that purpose there is this fog or haze something, so we need to remove it, and one simple way is using the overlay mode in the brush. So if you go over here on the mode and you select the overlay, and if you'll start painting on this edge, it is going to remove this small edge which is spreading over here. Okay, so that way we can refine our selection even further, and we can remove these hard edges which doesn't look good. All right, so I can paint all over, and this is going to remove this white fringe. So let me quickly do this, and if you have any question you can ask me right now. And little bit more, and once it is done, it's fine. All right, so now it's time to bring in something so that Hukum can sit on over that. So what we'll do, let me browse the image, and let me browse this rocks and drop it over here and place it something like this, and let's increase its size by pressing Shift Alt and increase its size with my mouse. Okay, and press enter, and now I'll bring this rock below the Hukum, so I'll bring it down, and now I'm going to adjust its position so that it looks good. So I'll make a selection of all of these two layers by pressing Shift and selecting it, and now I'll press the move tool and press the V for move tool and drag it down to something like this. All right, so we'll be placing him over here, and right now this one looks good. All right, so let me just save this work because I have not saved it, and you never know when you may lose your work. So it's always advisable to keep on saving your work. Alright, and now as you can see, at the moment this doesn't look good, so we need to create these shadows over here. Alright, so if anybody has a question, please do ask me. Alright, so let's create a shadow over it, under it. So let me just rename it quickly, Hukum, so that I can trace it back. So we need to create the one blank layer by clicking this icon under it. So if I'll just press this page icon by pressing Control, it is going to create a new layer under it. So I'm going to rename it as shadow. Alright, and now we'll be painting in shadows. So for that purpose, we'll be coming over here, select the brush tool and make sure this mode is normal this time, because last time we have selected the overlay. So this time we'll be selecting the normal mode, and over here we need to select the soft as brush with 0 hardness. Alright, and opacity should be around, let's say, 10%, because that way we'll be easily able to paint in the shadows. So we can increase the size of the brush by pressing the left bracket or the right bracket on your keyboard, and let me paint in the shadows. So we need to make this area darker because he's sitting over here and his shadows are also here, so this has to be dark. And make sure that this area has to be little darker than this middle one, because over here the shadow is always darker. Okay, so we are painting in over here, and here you can see we have some problem. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. Alright, and over here as well we need to paint in, make this area little more darker. Okay, and leave it little bit like here, and we need to paint in over here as well. So we'll paint in this because the light is coming from this side, so this area has to be darker, so because the shadow would be coming from this side. All right, so this is how we can create the shadows. And if you think that you have overdone it, then you can always lower down its opacity by coming over here on the opacity panel. You can adjust its opacity to your liking. Alright, and now you can see by turning it on and off, earlier it was not looking realistic and now it's looking realistic. Alright, and if you have any question, please do ask me your question, otherwise I'll go ahead. Alright, so I think nobody has a question. So now we have created shadow, and now we need to, okay, we got a question, and this is from Utpal, and he asked me, can we manipulate with the low resolution photos like mobile taking photos? Obviously, Utpal, these images have been taken by the mobile itself. They have not been shot with DSLR camera. So these all images, this Hukum Thapa's image, this one has also been shot by the camera. These clouds have been shot by the camera, mobile camera phone, and this what it is, this rock is also shot by camera, mobile camera, right? So we can do, obviously manipulation is manipulation, you can do it with anything. All right, if you have an image of the DSLR, then you can see we will not be having this low quality, and this grains, these artifacts, these happens because of the mobile phone. All right, because they have a low, very weak sensor, I think. So that is why we get these kind of a quality. Though in your mobile they looks very good, but when you zoom in you see the result. So this is how we get it, but don't worry, we are going to fix all of this very easily. However, we can stretch it to one extent, but beyond that we cannot do that. Alright, so now we need to edit the Hukum Thapa, our smart boy today. So we need to edit it. Now we need to fix its lighting, exposure and all that. So for that purpose we'll be using the camera raw filter. Okay, alright, so for that purpose we need to go to the filter and select camera raw filter, or you can simply press Shift Control A on your keyboard and it's going to open up the camera raw filter over here. And we'll first of all we'll press the auto, and it is going to fix the exposure a little bit, so we can adjust these settings over here. And we'll lower down the contrast, and let's change the temperature to something like this, little towards the cooler side, and increase the shadows, and let's increase little bit vibrance, and we don't want to increase the saturation because I'm going to desaturate it later on. Let's see what we can do. Okay, and let's zoom in and come over here on the sharpening panel and increase the luminance, and that going to take away some of the noise from the skin. Alright, and we'll press OK, and this is the result we have got after we have applied the camera raw filter. Alright, and now we need to make it little darker. So for that purpose we'll come over here on the adjustment panel and we'll select this curves adjustment. So we'll click it, and here on this option we'll click this clipping mask option, and you can see this has a downward pointed arrow. That means this layer is going to affect only this layer, not all the layers. Alright, so we are going to affect this Hukum's photo or this Hukum's layer only. Alright, so now I will click and drag it down and drag this point as well. This point affects the highlight, this affects the midtone, and this affects the shadows. Alright, so I will drag them down to make it little darker, something like this, or let's make it little more darker. Okay, I think something like this is good. And now we need to select this layer mask over here, and we need to select the brush tool, and this time we have to be using the black color, and we'll paint over here with low opacity. We are going to paint on this side so that it gets some light from this side. Alright, and this area gets darker. So this is how we can match the lighting in our photo manipulation, and we can paint in randomly wherever you see the light. And I'm using very low opacity, that is 10%, and that way we have to paint again and again, but that gives you the good result, and or you can say that gives you more control. Okay, and now we have got this kind of a result. So if I just turn this layer off, you can see now this one looks more realistic, and it looks like that this person is actually over here. And let's come back on the shadows and choose the brush tool. Again we have selected the brush tool with black color. Let me paint in over here little bit, so I want this area to be little more darker. Okay, and now we need to zoom in, and let's say I want to add, okay, what I can do. Alright, so let's add some sparks in the eyes. So again, we'll come over here on the adjustment layer and select and create this curves adjustment, and this time again we'll click this clipping mask option so that it affects only this layer, and click and drag it up. So it is going to brighten everything, as you can see right now, but we don't want these brightness everywhere. We want only the eyes to be sharp. Alright, so for that purpose what we'll do, we'll press Control I or Command I on our keyboard, and this is going to invert this mask. So if I press Control I, it has a white mask, and if I press Control I, it got the black mask. Black mask means nothing is visible. So we'll paint over here with the white color so that it gets visible. Alright, so we'll select the brush tool and white color from here, and let me zoom in, and as you can see, this has been shot by the mobile phone camera, so we don't have any sharpness in the eyes. So we'll paint a little bit, okay, in the eyes so that the eyes starts to spark a little bit, and make sure you don't overdo it, because that would not look good. Alright, so as you can see, by turning it on and off, we have done a very small change, because if we'll do more than that, that would not look good. Alright, okay, so now we need to, let's say, match the colors and lighting. But before doing that, I want to blur this background a little bit, because this has lots of grain as well. And okay, Ajay Bahera has joined us. Thank you, Ajay, and welcome to today's live stream. Okay, and all of those who have just joined it, kindly consider sharing this stream with your friends so that they can also get benefit from it. Alright, so before applying the blur on this image, I'll right click and I'm going to change it to smart object. So I need to select this convert to smart object, and I need to come over here, filter, make sure you come over here on the filter and blur and choose Gaussian blur. Okay, and this is going to open up this dialog box, and now we need to decide our blurriness. So I'll go for something like this. Okay, and I will press OK. And let me show you the reason why we have opted for the smart object instead of a simple layer. If I zoom in over here, you can see that right now we have this smart filter over here. So if suppose we want to change this background and make some changes, so suppose if we don't want that much of blur and we want to go back, so we can just turn it off, and that way we'll be getting our main or the starting image. And if we want to change it, we just need to double click it over here, and then we can adjust its radius once again. So if we want, we can increase it or we can decrease it. Alright, so that's the benefit of using the smart object and smart filter. So that way we get this option, and we can click this arrow, it is going to turn it off. Alright, and you can see now this one looks much better. So if you people have any question, please do ask me. Otherwise I'll go ahead. Do you have any question? Alright, so if this is your first time on this live stream, I would request you that kindly do like my page, and if you are watching this on YouTube, please do consider sharing, consider subscribing to my channel. And there is a free gift for you in the description of this video. Please go ahead and get that, and there is a discount coupon as well if you want to avail to that. There is no compulsion. Live stream is always free. All right, so now let's get started and move on with our photo manipulation. All right, we got a question from Ajay Bahera: how to increase sharpening without noise? All right, so there are so many ways, and the best way is using the unsharp mask, or we can use the high pass sharpening as well. So we'll be doing that in the end of this photo manipulation, because once we are done with our photo manipulation, then we'll be using this sharpening option at the end. All right, so make sure you stay tuned with us to see the result. All right, and now let me, streaming has been disconnected. All right, I think it has now connected. I hope you can all hear me. There was a little problem in connection, but now I think everything is fine. If it is fine, please do leave something in the comment, because I'm not sure whether you people can hear me or not. All right, I think you can hear me. All right, thank you everybody giving me like and love. Thank you very much. Okay, all right, fine. Utpal says fine. So we are going ahead with our photo manipulation. All right, thank you everybody, thank you. So now we need to color grade and desaturate Hukum Kusma, sorry, a little bit. So we'll come over here on the adjustment panel and we'll select this hue and saturation adjustment layer. So it is going to create this hue and saturation adjustment layer, and again we will check this clipping mask option, and that way it is going to affect only these layers. As you can see over here, we have the downward pointed arrow. All right, so now we'll decrease the saturation, because this much of saturation doesn't look good, and we want the smart boy to match with the scene. All right, so we'll decrease the saturation a little bit, and we can see the result by turning it on and off. And if you like it this way, then you can keep it that way as well. There is no compulsion. All right, but I would like to keep it this way. Okay, and now let's add some range over here, or make this scene little darker. So first of all, I'll go over here. Let me just show you by zooming in. We need to come over here on this black and white circle. So if we'll press it, it is going to open up this drop up menu, and over here we need to select this gradient option, and it is going to open this gradient fill dialog. And if we'll click over here on the gradient, and this is going to open up this gradient preset option. So from here we need to select this black to transparent gradient preset. This is predefined. If it is not over here, come over here on the cogwheel and select I think special effect, and press append, and it is going to be available over here. So we have all these options. So we'll select this black to transparent gradient, and we'll press OK, and from this drop down menu we'll select the radial style. All right, and as you can see, now we have this dark circle inside, but we want this dark circle outside. because we want to create the vignette effect, and for vignette effect the edges are dark, so we need to come over here and check this reverse option. Alright, so thank you so much everybody who have shared this stream. I do appreciate that. I'm grateful to you. So we'll check the reverse, and let me zoom out and see. And before closing it, we need to select the move tool, and we can adjust it wherever we want, this circle. So we'll be placing it on this side because I want the light to be on this side. Alright, and now we need to scale it, so we'll come over here on the scale option and we will scale it, and that way it is going to spread all over the image. Okay, and if we want, we can again adjust it this way, and unless if we are happy with the result, we'll press OK. But at the moment, if I just turn it off and on, you can see it has affected our smart boy as well. Alright, he has affected the Hukum as well, but we don't want him to get that dark. So we need to come over here and select this layer mask. This comes with a layer mask. So we'll select this layer mask and brush tool, and make sure we have the soft edge brush with 0 hardness, and let's say opacity around 30%, and increase the size of the brush by the right bracket, and if you want to decrease the size of the brush, you can press left bracket. Alright, so zoom in and paint in with the black color, and wherever you are going to paint in, it is going to remove it from that area. Okay, so we don't want it to affect this part, so we have painted it. So if I want to show you the layer mask, I'll press this one. So this is the layer mask we have created. So wherever there is a white color, this layer is affecting visible, and wherever there is a black color, this is not visible. Alright, so this is what we have now, and if you people have any question, please do let me know. Otherwise, I'll go ahead with this photo manipulation. Do you people have a question? Please do ask me. Alright, I'll wait a little bit more for your questions. If you have any question or queries, please do ask me. Alright, so we'll go ahead, and now I want some birds to be over here on the sky. So I'll browse for the birds, so I'll go for the birds, and let's say I will select this brush or this bird and drag it over here, and let me position it over here and press enter, and we have got this bird in the sky, and we will change its layer blend mode to, let's say, darken or multiply. Multiply is good, and now we need to lower down its opacity a little bit. So we'll lower down its opacity to something like this, so that it appears that it is actually in the clouds. Alright, and now we need to create duplicate copy of these birds. So we'll press Ctrl J or Command J twice or thrice, and then we'll readjust them, and we will change their size as well by pressing Ctrl T and Command T, and by pressing Shift and Alt or Shift or Option, we can resize them and we can rotate them whichever you want. You can do that. Ctrl T, resize, and make sure that all of these have some random size. And now we have got these birds in the sky. So you can change their direction as well by pressing Ctrl T and selecting all these 3 layers. Okay, so you can rotate them this way as well if you like, and this one I think looking good. Alright, And now we need to add the rain over here because I want little bit rain or rain kind of a effect. So for that purpose we need to create the rain. So let me first press Ctrl G or Command G and rename these group to group them together, call the birds. Alright, so that I can easily track them. And let me purge my all the history. So go to the edit, purge and purge all, and that way it is going to remove all the history, and in that case I will not be able to go back. Alright, so make sure before purging everything you make sure that you will not be able to go back. Alright, and now we have got the birds, and we'll create a new layer and we'll fill this with the black color. Alright, Ajay Behera says that this is looking good. Yeah, it's looking good. Thank you Ajay, but let me see what we can do it, or where we can take it. So photo manipulation is all about experimentation, try different ideas and let's see what looks good. And this is all non-destructive editing, so you can always come back at any time whenever you want. Alright, so we got a layer, new blank layer, and then we'll come over here on the edit and select the fill and fill with the foreground color, or we can select it and select the black color and press OK, and that way it is going to fill it with the black color. And now we will add some noise to it, so we'll go to the filter, select noise and select add noise, and make sure you crank up this slider up to 400 and check this uniform and monochromatic, and that way we'll be getting the black and white noise, and we'll press OK, and that way we'll be getting this kind of a background. And now we'll go to the filter again and select blur and choose Gaussian blur, and from here we'll be choosing the low radius of something like this, around 2, and we'll press OK. And now we need to change its layer blend mode to screen, so we'll come over here and change its layer blend mode to screen. Alright, and that way we'll be getting this kind of a result, and you might be wondering that what I've done, I have just ruined this image, but don't worry, we are yet to create the rain with this. So for creating the rain, we'll press Ctrl L or Command L if you are using Mac, and this is going to open up this dialog box. Let me zoom in. So we have 3 controls, one for the shadow, one for the midtone, and one for the highlight. So we need to adjust all of these. So we'll drag it over here and bring this one over here, bring this one as well. Let me drag it to this side until we get this kind of a result. You can see we have some little small sparks, so these are very useful for creating a magical effect as well if you want, like some dust particles are running in the background, so you can create that as well. Alright, so you just need to adjust all of these settings, or if you want to create the night with the stars, you can do that as well with the help of this, and you need to press OK. Alright, and at the moment it doesn't look like a rain, so we need to add the rain to this. But before going to that, we need to convert it to the smart object, so we'll right click and select convert to smart object, and that way whatever will be applying it would be look like a it would be a non-destructive editing, and we can change its values later on. So we'll be calling it rain. Let me rename it quickly, and then we'll go to the filter and blur and choose motion blur, and it is going to open up this dialog box, and here we can adjust the direction of the rain, so whichever direction you want the rain to be, and here you can adjust its distance. Okay, so let me zoom out and see how much rain effect I want. I think I would go for something like this and press OK. And now we'll press, as you can see, we have some hard edges over here. And before going into that, let me just show you that if you want to make any changes, you just need to click on this motion blur, double click, and it is going to open up this dialog box, and then we can again change its setting to our liking. Alright, this is the benefit of applying any filter on a smart layer. So this would be a smart filter. Alright, and now we have some hard edges, as you can see over here. If I zoom in to show you, we have some problems over here. So for that purpose, we'll press Ctrl T or Command T, and it is going to show up some warning. Don't worry, press OK and press Ctrl Alt Shift and drag it outside. So it is going to scale it up little bit so that those edges remain outside. Alright, so this is how we have got one rain layer, but we need to create one more. So we want some bigger and thick rains as well. So for that purpose, we'll be pressing Ctrl J or Command J to duplicate this layer, and this time we'll press Ctrl T. Again, warning, ignore it. Shift Alt or Shift or Option if you are using Mac, and drag it outside. So scale it even further and press Enter. And that way it is going to add some large rains. And then we'll go to the filter, blur, and choose Gaussian blur, and we'll apply some Gaussian blur to this, and we'll press OK. And this is going to apply some thick drops or raindrops. Alright, so as you can see right now we have this rain effect, but this one is over too much, or these drops are too much. So we'll select both these rains by pressing Shift, and we'll press Ctrl G, Command G to group them together and rename it as rain. Oh, sorry, I just typed it wrong. Rain. And we'll lower down its opacity if we want. So we can lower down its opacity, or what we can do, we can create another mask over here, and with the soft edge brush we can paint with the black color from wherever we don't want this to have that much of rain. Okay, and that way it is going to soften this effect. Okay, and over here I want it to have that effect. Okay, and now let's finally color grade this image. So for that purpose we'll be using the Google's Nik Color EFX Pro. Alright, however we can do that right here in the Photoshop, these settings as well with the helper, but I'm going to use that. So we'll press Ctrl Alt Shift E to create a stamp copy of all of these. You can see right now we have a stamp copy, so this is independent of all the layers. Alright, so we'll go to the filter and select Nik Collection and select Color EFX Pro, and this is going to open up this dialog box. So this is the interface of the Color EFX Pro. So if anybody has a question, please do ask me the question, otherwise I'll go ahead with our photo manipulation. We are at the final stage of our photo manipulation. Do we have any question, or if you have any queries, please do ask. Alright, and if you are not aware of this Color EFX Pro, over here we have, let me just quickly show you, over here we have all these presets, and over here we can adjust its setting. So we'll be selecting the cross processing from here, and here we have some presets. So I'll hover my mouse over each of that, and it is going to show me the preview how it's going to look like with all these presets. So I think I will go for this one. This one I like, so I've selected it, and I will try other one as well. This one is also looking good, or let's say go for this one. Alright, and over here we can adjust its strength with the help of this. So if we want how much of this effect we want, so we can adjust that as well, and we can adjust the shadows and highlights as well, that whether we want this effect to have more effect in the shadows or the highlights. So basically it helps us to decide or give us the control of the shadows and the highlights. So if I increase the shadows, then you can see it is not applying that effect in the shadows. Alright, so I think I will go for this one little bit, and let's increase the highlights. I think this one is fine. And over here with this compare button, if I just press that, it is going to show me the before and after. So you can see it has color graded it a little bit. Now we have got some green color. Over here we have got some green color, and this one is looking good. And let me add another filter, try to see whether it's going to look good. And I'm going to add the vignette lens, so it is going to darken this as even more, and I will increase its amount because I don't want that much of darkness. And let's see, by comparing, turning it on and off, now I think this one is looking good. I think I should go for it. And once I'm happy with the result, and here by the way, let me tell you, here we have the filter for sharpening as well, so we can do sharpening from here as well, but I don't like the sharpening doing sharpening over here, so I'm not going to do that. I'll just press OK, and it's going to apply this effect, and it has now applied it. And you can see by turning it on and off, this is before and this is after we have done this color grading. So thank you Utpal. He says wow, amazing, thank you. And now let's see what else we can do. I want a little bit warmer light over here. Alright, so for that purpose we'll create a new blank layer, and we'll change its layer blend mode to, let's say, hard light, and I will select the orange color, or I can just double click it and select the orange color, and make sure the opacity is 100%, and I'm going to paint in over here. Alright, so this is going to create this dark red or orange effect, but we don't want that much. So we'll change this layer blend mode to, let's say, soft light. I think soft light is looking good. And now we'll press Ctrl T or Command T, and again by pressing Shift and Alt we'll expand it or scale it so that it gets expanded everywhere. Alright, and we'll press Enter, and now this one is looking much better than the earlier one. Earlier we were having a simple, but now we have added some more interest to the image, and this one is in combination with the color theory as well. As you know that color theory, this color combination in Hollywood movies as well, we see this, that here we have some dark green and then we have some orange. So this is also helps us to get that look. Okay, and if you want you can always lower down its opacity if you want, but I think I will go for this one. Alright, and now the final turn is of the sharpening. Now we want to sharpen this image. Alright, so we get more sharpening in this image with the help of this, but before this, alright, I think I'll not do anything much because this one is looking good. So I'll do the sharpening finally, and for that purpose again we have to create the stamp copy or the merge copy of all these layers. So you can do that by pressing Ctrl Alt Shift E, okay, or Command Option Shift E if you are using the Mac, and this is going to create the stamp copy over here. And now we need to change its layer blend mode to linear light. So we'll go to the layer blend mode option and change the linear light, and we'll get this kind of a result. And you might be wondering what the hell I have done to this image. Don't worry, we are going to fix it. So we'll go to the filters and select others and select high pass, and make sure you select the radius between 1 and 1.5, otherwise you will get lots of grain in your image. Alright, so we'll press OK, and it is going to apply this sharpening to the image. So let me zoom in to show you. By turning it on and off, we have got some little bit sharpening, okay. And you can see over here we have some problem in the hairs, so we can fix all of that. Again, we have to go back and change the we need to come over here on this Hukum's portrait, and we need to remove it from there, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to show you, you can always do that. And you can see by turning it on and off, this is the sharpening we have done, but at the moment it has also sharpened the skin, which we don't want. So for that purpose, we'll create a new layer mask, okay, and we are going to paint in with the black color, and that way it is going to remove it from there. So this is how you can do the controlled sharpening or selective sharpening. And let me lower down the opacity to around 50%, and with the black color I am going to paint in over the skin, and that way the skin will not be sharpened, and that way the portrait would look good. And finally we'll be doing the dosing and burning. Alright, so let me remove it from the hands as well. So I'm going to paint in on the hands, and now we'll be finally doing the dosing and burning, so that we get some more details on this portrait. So if you people have any question, please do ask me, otherwise I'll go ahead. Okay, so let's create another layer, and this time go to the edit, fill, and from this drop down menu make sure you select 50% gray and press OK, and this is going to fill it with the gray color, and then you need to change its layer blend mode to overlay. We have got overlay. Alright, and now we need to come over here on the toolbox, and we have to select this dose tool, or you can simply press O on your keyboard to have the access to dose tool. And let me zoom out, zoom in, and let's paint wherever you see the highlights. Alright, and make sure this option is midtone is selected and exposure is around 10 or below 10. Alright, and let's paint wherever there are highlights, so that way we'll be having more details and depth in the image. And we can even sculpt the face or facial features with the help of this dosing and burning technique. And by the way, I got a full around 1 hour plus course on dosing and burning, where I have explained each and every dosing and burning techniques which professionals use and even amateurs use. So if you want, you can go to my website harshvardhanart.com and then you can check out that course. All right, so let me paint in. Okay, got a question from Utpal. He says that why 50% gray? I don't know, 50% gray actually works this way. This dosing and burning works only on the 50% gray, because it gets, if we apply the overlay, so it gets mixed with the background and then we apply it. Otherwise we can directly do that on a new layer or on the directly on the layer as well, but that would be a destructive way of editing, because if we want to go back we'll not be able to do that. But I don't know why, but this works only on the 50% gray, or you can directly edit your image. Okay, and let me paint in quickly over here as well. Wherever there are highlights, just paint in and we'll be having more details and depth. And let me tell you about the photo manipulation. If you are doing the photo manipulation, it basically, once you do whatever you like and then after few hours come back to your work and see whether you like it or what thing you need to change, and then change it. So this is how the photo manipulation works and it evolves. All right, but since it's a live, I can do this much only. Otherwise I will refine all these options. I will add some hair spikes little bit. I will edit skins and these black or dark circles over here as well. All right, and now we'll select the burn tool from here. This is again by pressing O, or you should press Shift O. Okay, and this time we are going to paint in wherever there is a dark area. So we'll have some more depth in the shadows as well. Okay, and you can see now by turning it on and off, this is before and this is after, and if you feel that you have overdone it, always lower down its opacity from here. So I always lower down the opacity after doing it, because when I do it I don't see that much of the result. All right, and now I think this one is looking good, and if there is certain problem you can always crop it or make this area a little darker. Okay, so let me just show you quickly full screen. This is the result we have got, and if you people have any question, please do ask me now. We have taken this image and we have turned it into something like this. Okay, and finally I'll add my logo or my watermark, place it over here, enter. All right, so if you people have any question, please do ask me, and please do let me know what do you think about today's episode or today's live webinar. And if you want me to use your images, then please contact me via Facebook Messenger, or I would also request you that you please do like my Facebook page and subscribe to my YouTube channel. There is a link of that as well in my page itself. You'll find some post, and if you are watching me on YouTube, then you can subscribe to my channel. If you people have any question, please do ask me. I'm here to answer your questions. And let me tell you that there is a free gift for you. My pro courses, premium training courses, you can get them for free. There is a link above. You just need to go to that link, subscribe to my newsletter, and you will have access to, I think, 3 of my courses, which are worth more than $200. And I have some coupons as well for my other course, so if you want to avail them, you can avail them. All right, so do we have a question? Does anybody have a question? Please let me know. Okay, I think it's time to say good night to everybody. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate your presence. See you tomorrow probably, and if you want me to continue this, please let me know. And if you want to learn on certain topic, then please do let me know. Leave your request in the comment section. Thank you, Utpal, for subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm grateful to all of you. So thank you so much. Bye bye. Good night.